For as long as people have dreamed, struggled, hustled, and fought their way through life, one belief has always stood above the rest. If I just had more money, everything would be fine. It is the universal promise we whisper to ourselves in moments of exhaustion, envy, debt, and frustration. The belief that just a little more 10%, 20%, double would finally unlock peace, happiness, stability, and control. The idea is seductive, comforting, logical. And yet, when history is honest, when psychology is brutally examined, when the financial lives of millions are peeled open, something unsettling emerges. More money does not erase problems. In many cases, it magnifies them. This truth is not intuitive, and it certainly isn't popular. It runs against every instinct we have. Because we live in a world where money seems to define safety, where people are judged by what they earn, where anxiety hides behind numbers in bank accounts, and where poverty is treated as a personal failing rather than a systemic outcome. So the brain does what the brain always does. It looks for a simple narrative. I feel stressed gives I don't have enough money gives therefore money is the missing piece. And for a moment, that belief feels like hope. But hope is not evidence. And money, as history shows us again and again, is far more complicated than our emotions allow. To understand why, imagine this. A person wins the lottery. Overnight, they go from struggling to wealthy. At first, it looks like salvation, a life-changing moment, the final answer to decades of financial pressure. Yet studies across decades show that most lottery winners return to their previous emotional state within months, and many end up worse off financially within 5 years. Not because money failed them, but because money amplified the systems already inside them. Their habits, their fears, their expectations, their relationships, their blind spots. Money didn't solve their problems. It accelerated them. Now picture a high-income executive earning more in a month than most people earn in a year. From the outside, they are the symbol of success. But behind that image, mental health issues, marriage breakdowns, burnout, debt cycles, and addiction rates remain stubbornly high. Why? Because money solved some problems, but introduced a different kind, quieter, and harder to name. Problems of identity, problems of status, problems of time, problems of expectation. Now travel backward through history to kings, emperors, tycoons, and magnates. Their palaces, fortunes, armies, and empires did not protect them from paranoia, betrayal, illness, or collapse. Money gave them reach, but it could not protect them from themselves. The wealthiest Roman emperors fell to conspiracy. Industrial giants of the 19th century died in misery. Tech billionaires today, despite unimaginable wealth, still struggle with loneliness, purpose, and psychological conflict. More money changed their landscapes, but not their internal weather. But if more money doesn't solve all problems, the question becomes, what does it actually do? Money removes material problems, the problems that come from not having enough. Hunger, shelter insecurity, medical emergencies, unpaid bills. Money is powerful against these concrete threats. In this sense, money solves problems the way medicine dissolves pain. It relieves pressure. It gives room to breathe. It stabilizes. But beyond that point, something shifts. After basic needs and reasonable comfort are met, the relationship between money and happiness weakens dramatically. The problems that remain are no longer financial, they are psychological, relational, existential. And yet the myth persists. Why? Because it is emotionally convenient. It offers a storyline where the solution exists out there, not within. It delays the discomfort of examining deeper truths about purpose, time, discipline, attachment, and fear. It simplifies the complexity of human life down to a single measurement. But the deeper truth is this: money changes circumstances, not character. It magnifies behavior, it amplifies patterns, it accelerates direction. If someone is disciplined, money empowers discipline. If someone is impulsive, money fuels impulsiveness. If someone is anxious, money gives them new reasons to be anxious. The problems never disappear, they simply evolve. Think about the global financial crises. Wealthy corporations collapsed under their own leverage. High-income homeowners lost houses because they overextended. Investors with million-dollar portfolios panicked harder than people with nothing to lose. In these moments, money didn't protect it, intensified the fall. Meanwhile, countless people with modest incomes live stable, peaceful, Meaningful lives because they solved the problems money couldn't fix. Expectations, priorities, habits, boundaries, community, time, and purpose. This is not an argument against money. Money matters profoundly. It is safety, opportunity, flexibility, dignity. It opens doors, expands choices, buys time, and reduces fear. But the myth that more money will solve everything blinds people from developing the parts of life that money cannot touch. Money cannot repair relationships broken by neglect. Money cannot buy back time wasted on the wrong things. Money cannot fix the absence of purpose. Money cannot heal the fear of inadequacy. Money cannot make you love your life. Money cannot quiet the mind that is always comparing, always chasing, always feeling behind. The myth is dangerous because it pushes people into a lifelong chase believing that the next raise, the next investment, the next business will finally bring peace. But peace is not a product of money. Peace comes from alignment, having enough, managing it well, and understanding the limits of what money can do. If this episode challenged the story you were taught, consider subscribing to the Economic Rewind Vault, not because it helps the channel, but because every myth you dismantle gives you a clearer view of reality. And clarity is the greatest financial advantage of all. In the next episode of Money Myths Rewind, we take on a belief that quietly shapes how governments behave, how voters respond, and how the economy is managed. National debt will bankrupt a country. But the truth behind national debt is far stranger and far more counterintuitive than you think. See you in the next Rewind.